Listen, you might feel like the laziest person when it comes to fitness, finding every single excuse to avoid working out. But what if I told you that with some small, simple changes that don't feel like a chore, you can completely transform your health, your confidence, and your energy? You can literally go from avoiding anything that looks like effort to feeling strong, fit, and feeling so much better in your own skin. And you know how I know? Because I've done it. Today I'm sharing 7 ridiculously simple ways to get fit with minimal effort, even if you're starting from zero. If you're new here, welcome. If you're not, welcome back. I'm Sophie. I never introduced myself, so I thought it's probably time that I should. Today's video is super important because by the end of it, you're going to be equipped with 7 real tips and strategies that you can start implementing today to become the new and improved, healthiest version of yourself for the new year. Tip 1 is really going over the groundwork, and it's the essential step that you need to make sure that any of the other steps you take on your fitness journey actually work. And then tip 7 is one of my favorite ones that honestly makes staying fit feel effortless on a day-to-day basis. So stick around. If you've tried but failed to work out consistently before, then you probably need to change something about the mindset that you take towards exercise. The first thing you'll want to do is take a look at how you currently view yourself and then figure out which parts do and don't align with the version of yourself that you want to be. I mean, the fact that you clicked on this video tells me that you currently view yourself as a lazy person. As humans, we tend to categorize ourselves, whether that's consciously or subconsciously, so our brains can make some sort of attempt to figure out where we fit in the world. So if you've already decided in your head that you're a lazy person, then it's no wonder that you've not been super successful with your health and fitness. So stop telling yourself you're a lazy bum and start telling yourself that you're someone who makes healthy meals, you get excited to work out every week, and you hit your step goal. Then as you start making those mindset changes, you're actually going to have to start doing some of the things that you associate with that version of yourself doing. And we're going to cover the easiest and most practical ways of doing that in the other steps of this video. I'm not saying that you're tricking yourself into thinking that you're a completely different person, or somehow that by telling yourself you're fit, then that's automatically where you'll be. But just taking a second to really figure out where your current mindset is at is the first step to help you become the best version of yourself. Because if you don't know what you want or need to change, then you're never going to change anything at all. No matter how many times you've tried and failed on your fitness journey before, it might still be hard to make those mindset changes if you viewed yourself in a certain way for so long. You definitely need consistent reminders so you can keep aligning your actions with your goals each day, but you also need a really solid reason why. Some people tell you that you just won't get anywhere if you don't want it hard enough, and I think I actually used to say that in the past. But now, whenever I want to make a change, there's 2 ways that I find sort of the motivation to actually do it. The method you choose will depend on what kind of person you are or how you're feeling about the thing that you want to change in that moment. The sun is shining right on my face. It's just in the wrong position. I could sit back a bit, but is that going to be weird? I'm going to be completely honest, method 2 usually works better for most people, but I thought I should give you options. So first, you can try and find motivation to reach your goal by thinking of the goal and the end result that you're going to achieve. So continuously reminding yourself of where you want to be, that is sort of going to be your motivation to get you there. On the other hand, for method 2, you're going to think about all of the negative things that might happen if you don't make the change. So if you don't start working out or you don't start eating better, then how is that going to affect you and where you're going to be in 5 years' time? Will it affect your relationships? Will it affect your job or any promotions that you might get? Will it just affect your quality of life and how much you're able to enjoy the things that you're actually doing? How is your overall health and well-being going to be in 5 years' time if you don't make this change? Once you figured that out, then you might realize that your reason for making the change is actually not that strong, so you don't need to make a change at all. Will eating healthy and working out be beneficial for your health? Yes. But if you don't have the reason and the motivation and the drive to actually start doing it, then you're not going to do it. However, sometimes the thing that's holding you back from starting to work out or eating healthier can actually be linked to a bit of a deeper fear. Whether that's the fear of the unknown because you've never lived like that before, or just the fear of what other people are going to think when you start making health a priority. I just want to say this one thing. If you're scared to start working out because you think that people are going to judge you, then just the fact that you're thinking that is you judging yourself. So if you don't want other people to judge you, why are you judging? If we don't work on the internal first, then the external's never going to change in a positive way. When you start to make changes internally and spiritually, then you'll start to feel better in yourself and you'll build confidence to keep pursuing your health and fitness from the inside out. Once you understand the changes that you need to make internally, now we can start talking about the practical tips that can make it feel almost effortless to get started. Because once you've got that initial momentum going, it's so much easier to just keep going and doing that over and over. It's like physics. Tip 2, set the bar low. There's no point just jumping straight in there with a really strict and regimented workout program that you're hitting the gym every single day, running 10 miles every second day, and never even looking at a slice of pizza for the rest of your life. There's no point. You're gonna fall off. So to make it as seamless as possible to get going on your fitness journey, first, we're just gonna look at your steps. If you're a full-time student or you've got an office job or something like that, we can sometimes find ourselves not getting in as many steps as we should do. But first, you're obviously going to have to know how many steps you're currently doing. So what I'd recommend is get yourself a fit watch. Get yourself a smartwatch. I have a Fitbit. I'll link it in the description, but it tells you how many steps you've done each day. I'm not currently wearing it because when I'm filming, I tend to wave my arms around way too much and it counts them as steps, but in general, it's pretty accurate. So on day 1 of tracking your steps, I literally just want you to track your steps as you would for a normal day. Don't bother trying to do anything different straight off the bat. I just want you to know what your original base level is. Then once you figure that out, the next day, I just want you to add in 1,000 steps. This is literally a 10-minute walk. And if you feel like you don't have time, you can split it up. You don't have to do a whole 10-minute walk at once. You can literally do a 2-minute walk to the bathroom or a 5-minute walk up and down the stairs, and you don't even have to go outside. I mean, I'd prefer it if you did go for a walk outside because there's been a whole load of benefits from the scientific research showing that it decreases anxiety significantly from just a 10-minute walk. But this approach is all about minimizing the friction so you can make it as easy as possible for yourself to actually go and do it. So if you find an additional 5-minute walk twice a day easier to add in than one 10-minute walk every day, then do that. For our general health, it's recommended that we get anywhere from 7,000 to 10,000 steps every day. This has been shown to decrease the risk of early death along with heart disease and a whole load of other medical conditions, which is pretty significant when you think about it because literally a few more minutes of walking each day can add years onto the end of your life. A few super easy ways to help you get more steps in without it really making much of a difference is if you're driving somewhere, just park a bit further away from where you're going so that you can walk a bit further in the car park. You can also use the stairs instead of the elevator. I'm sure you've heard that before. Or if you're just someone who gets bored when going for a walk, listen to a podcast. Like, put your headphones in, listen to a podcast, listen to some music. If you've been on my channel before, you'll know I always do my podcast walk every single day without fail. And it's so good because I can learn so much in this time where I'm also getting my steps in, and it's sort of multitasking and it just makes you feel so good afterwards. Tip 3, drink water first thing in the morning. I'm sure you know by now that when you wake up first thing in the morning, you are dehydrated because you've not been drinking anything over the whole night you've been asleep. So yes, drinking water first thing is obviously going to rehydrate you, but it also boosts your energy, improves your brain function and mental clarity, curbs cravings, helps with your skin, your digestion, your metabolism, and a whole lot of other things. So getting water first thing in the morning before eating or drinking anything else is very important. When I tell you I can barely function in the morning before I've had my glass of water, I'm not exaggerating. Like, no one can speak to me until then. To make it super easy for myself, what I do is I fill up my glass of water before I go to bed, put it on my desk, and then I can see it as soon as I wake up. So just go, water. Done. It's also obviously really important that you stay hydrated throughout the day, which is why I use one of those water bottles that has the markings on it, so I know how much I've drunk throughout the day. I can fill it up and stay hydrated. I personally aim to get about 3 litres of water every day, but it will differ from person to person, so give it a quick Google. Tip 4, do micro workouts. If you're starting as a lazy girl or someone who's super busy, it can be really hard to get in a full 45-minute gym session. But there is no rule that your gym session has to be more than 30 minutes. It doesn't even have to be more than 5 minutes. When we start working out, we always seem to have this preconceived idea in our heads that if we don't start going to the gym or go to the gym for a certain amount of time, then it doesn't count. But I'm telling you, there is no rule that says that. You could literally do 5 minutes of air squats in your living room, and that is still better than nothing. When I first started getting into fitness originally, I started by doing wall sit while I was brushing my teeth. That's literally just 2 minutes, plus you're multitasking, And wall sit is a lot harder than it looks. So if you couldn't manage the full 2 minutes, you could do 30 seconds, break, another 30 seconds, break, and you're done. Then you can increase that until you've hit 2 minutes straight and you've not taken any time out of your day. Every little bit adds up, and when we're starting from absolute zero, then that is going to be very important. When you feel ready for slightly longer workouts, or you're ready to actually go to the gym, which I'm so excited for, then I want you to remember that your mind is gonna give up way before your body does. When you actually start pushing yourself harder in the gym, it's gonna feel tough, it's gonna feel sore, it's gonna be painful, I'm not gonna lie to you. But your mind will clock out before your body, like your muscles, actually hit physical failure. When it comes to working out at the gym, you've probably heard the concept of training to failure, and there's really two different kinds of failure. You've got muscular failure and then technical failure. Pushing to muscular failure, or just 2 or 3 reps shy, is a good point to aim for if you're wanting to build muscle. Because in order to create a sufficient stimulus that your body actually uses to start the muscle building process, you need to be training with a certain level of intensity. But if your form starts to break down and you can't lift the weights properly and safely, then that is technical failure. And you should never push beyond technical failure because you're so much more likely to get injured that way. Your mind will always give up before your body does. Stop thinking about working out as a chore, because let's be real, you don't have to work out. You could quite easily keep living the same way you've been living for the last year or the last 5 years and continue like that. You could quite easily continue to leave your health on the sidelines, keep going as you are, and then in the next 3 years find yourself in a worse position than you are today. But you don't have to work out at all. You get to work out. Honestly, you and me are so blessed to be able to work out, to be able to eat healthy, and we take that for granted far too often. So try and switch your thinking from viewing working out as a chore to viewing it as an art form. Think about training with deliberate movements that might get difficult, but with consistent work, it gets easier. You get into the flow of it, and over time, you end up creating an absolute masterpiece. Tip 5 is batch cook or pick healthier grab and go options. But I don't have time to meal prep. I know. I was there. I made that excuse. When I initially wanted to start eating healthier, I thought that meant I had to be in the kitchen every single night for an hour just cooking healthy meals. More often than not, by the time I got back from uni, I was tired. I didn't want to cook anything. I just went for the easiest option that I could grab out of the fridge. But then it hit me. If I started meal prepping 1 day a week that took me 1 hour, I could make meals for the entire week that would save me 6 hours. And suddenly, eating healthy was a no-brainer. And if you really don't have time to cook for 1 hour per week, then there's a whole load of different services and meal prep companies nowadays that you could just order healthy meals straight to your door. But honestly, meal prepping is a lazy girl life hack that got me through the last 2 years of uni because I hadn't discovered it before then, but I'm literally going to be standing by it for the rest of my life. To make it even easier, you can meal prep your breakfast, your lunches. Remember when you were a kid at school and your mom used to make your packed lunch the night before? That is essentially meal prepping. You can save time by just making more food in one go, because it means you're not going to have to get everything out and then put everything back away again and then do more washing up, because you're just condensing it into this one time slot. If you're someone who gets bored of having the same meals over and over, then you also have no excuses, because in your meal prepping session, you can prepare different sources of carbs, fats, proteins, and fruits and veggies, and then just combine them the night before or even in the morning and add different sauces depending on what you feel like, the flavors you're kind of wanting that day. I'm telling you, I know meal prep is underrated, but it's going to change your life. Tip number 6 is going to help you relax your entire body without taking any extra time out of your day, and it's also going to improve your mobility so that you can get more depth and more range of motion in your exercises when you're working out. That is stretch while you're watching TV. So during your next YouTube binge session, get on the floor, do some stretches or mobility work. Doing regular mobility work is so important for your longevity, reducing your risk of injury in the gym and at home, and just in general, it'll help you be able to move better and move more freely throughout your day. Also, when I do stretching while watching something that I was going to watch anyway, I don't know, it just makes me feel more productive when I'm finished watching it. So each time you're doing your stretches, I want you to try and get a little bit deeper than you did the time before. We have a guest. See you, Lou? No. See you, Lou? She likes stretching. You down? Anyway, the mobility that you gain in those little stretching sessions is going to transfer over to your workouts and it'll help you with your lifts in the gym. Tip number 7 is master the art of lazy meal swaps. Whether that's replacing lemonade with flavoured sparkling water, crisps or chips with popcorn, and sugary snacks to dark chocolate or fruit, there are so many alternatives out there and there's going to continuously be more and more options being made. In my case, when I was starting my fitness journey, I was actually really skinny, so I had the opposite problem of most people, but I still didn't know what healthy food swaps I could make to actually help me gain weight in a healthy way. So the way I like to go about food swaps, whether the goal is to lose fat or gain weight and build muscle, is all about the volume of the food. So if you're in a calorie deficit or you're eating fewer calories than you burn throughout the day in order to lose weight, then you want to aim for high volume, low calorie food. So things like adding salads to your meals, using lighter sauces, even looking at the different cuts of meat or different kinds of fish that you can choose, along with switching to low fat dairy instead of regular fat dairy. Those are going to be your best options. And then when you're wanting to gain weight and build muscle, you want to aim for low volume and high calorie foods. So some of the swaps that I made was switching any low fat dairy to regular fat dairy, switching fresh fruit to dried fruit to make it a lower volume but add more calories in it, switching whole nuts to nut butters, and I guess in a sort of similar way, switching beans, like whole beans, to things like hummus. That meant that I was able to get more calories in without it taking up so much space in my stomach, so I wasn't as full, I didn't feel as disgusting, and I was able to reach my goal faster. So I hope you can see whichever side you're on, there are gonna be food swaps you can make that don't change your diet that much, but they can have a big impact. And on top of that, when you're initially making these changes, it's so important to first think about the things that you can add to your diet before you think about the things you can take away. If you're trying to lose weight and you add a salad to what you're currently eating, yes, you've not taken out any of the bad stuff, but if you eat the salad first, then you might feel too full to then fill up on the bad stuff. So purely by adding in more of these healthy foods, you automatically just don't want to eat as much of the junk stuff. Getting fit doesn't have to feel like a chore. Start small, make it fun, celebrate the little victories. And I'm gonna be honest, the best results don't come easy, but you can start by making simple changes that will really go such a long way. So if you have any other tips or you think I left something out, then make sure to drop it in the comments because I love talking to you guys and I respond to all my comments, so I will see you down there. But thank you so much for watching. I honestly appreciate you so much more than you know. And if you found this useful, it would mean so much to me if you subscribed, because apparently, like on YouTube analytics, it said that 98% of people who watch my content aren't actually subscribed, which is insane. So I'd appreciate it if you did. But if you're currently looking for some more practical next steps on how to actually build your workout routine and get into the gym, then you're gonna want to watch this video next. See you there.